from our live stream. So let's run you through the starting order for DD2 and DD2 qualifying heat number 1. On the front row, it's Austria's Daniel Machacek, who will have current points leader Martin Henkel-Mortens alongside for company. Then it's Zenderu and Konstantin Schöll on row 2. Niki La and Manuel Tenschert making it on Austrian row 3. Thomas Piat and Johan Andersson row 4. Max Fleischmann starts from 9th, and alongside him will be current DD2 Masters points leader Christoph Adams from Belgium. Then rounding out the order we have Piotr Wisnicki, who had drama with a left rear wheel coming off during qualifying or tyre, ahead of Marcel Steinert and William van der Kaj, rounding out the 13 strong. So 10 minutes plus 1 additional lap, and it looks to be that the fight at the front between Messrs Machacek and Henkel-Mortens is one that I've been greatly anticipating this very afternoon, because Machacek is the only driver out of the field this weekend during non-qualifying practice that went sub 42 seconds. Now the pace is going to be nowhere near that when we go racing very, very shortly, but again it will be 10 minutes plus an additional lap. Your top 3 rows, it is Machacek on pole, Henkel-Mortens alongside, Deroux and Schöll, that is row 2, with La and Tenschert, that is your top 6. The field quickly gets into the 2x2 side-by-side rolling start formation ahead of racing here. The last of our first of 3 qualifying heats for all 4 categories here, and it's literally ended up being a single file train going through. They need to get into formation pretty quickly. The 4 at the back are straggling a little bit, but now they will allow them to get into position before we get underway very, very shortly. So front row, it will be Machacek on the left of your screen, and then Henkel-Mortens to his left. Revs drives, DD2 is go here in Austria, and into turn 1, and instantly loses out. Well, Martin Henkel-Mortens, I think, has dropped considerably. And it is definitely the case that Martin Henkel-Mortens is in 6th position, having been jumped on the start and shoving his way past as Niki La up into 2nd, having got past Zenderu, it looks to be, who's currently in 3rd place. And looks like Martin Henkel-Mortens is challenging already for 5th place. He's already on the back foot in this first qualifying heat. So, leaders now coming through as Henkel-Mortens makes up a place up into 6th, I think, as Machacek is leading by a clear 2nd over Niki La and Zenderu. So the battle between 2nd and 3rd is quite clearly on, with Machacek basically like an Olympic sprinter running away from the rest of the field. Henkel-Mortens currently in 6th, goes up the inside for 5th place there. Nice move by the current points leader, and a couple of other karts go with him as well. But already the lead that Daniel Machacek from Austria has already got over the opposition is set to just increase as the race proceeds. 1.27 seconds is the gap between 1st and 2nd. And Max Fleischmann has already started making his way up the field. He's ahead of Henkel-Mortens, so the two at the top of the point standings have reversed positions in this heat. Fleischmann in 4th, Henkel-Mortens in 5th. Konstantin Schöll, who started 4th, is now in 6th position. Thomas Piat in the number 552 is currently leading the DD2 Masters in this particular race. So I'm just wondering how much ground is Martin Henkel-Mortens going to cover in terms of closing the gap to those in front, as he's lost out to Konstantin Schöll for 5th position. Johan Andersson is now in 7th, ahead of Wisnicki and van der Kaj, with Piat now down in 10th place. So we only have 3 DD2 Masters competitors here in this particular race itself. So each of the respective categories have 2 qualifying heats to participate in, as Mahacek's lead is further exacerbated. It's now 1.872 seconds. Nicky Lowe in second place is now about 0.6 of a second ahead of Zenderu, whereas Maxi Fleischmann still in fourth. Konstantin Schurl rounds out the top 5 as there's more changes for position a little bit further down the order. It looks like Wisnicki's making some moves. Christoph Adams, William van der Kaj from the Netherlands, who started from 13th, is about 8 seconds off the leaders. So 6.5 minutes remain in this first of 3 qualifying heats for DD2 and DD2 Masters, with Daniel Mahacek from Austria now extending his lead quite comfortably to 2 seconds ahead of Nicky Lowe, with Zenderu in third place. So the top 3 separated by just 2.5 seconds. So 4 minutes completed here in DD2 and DD2 Masters qualifying heat number 1. Top 5 at the moment in DD2. It is Mahacek, La, Deroux, Fleischmann and Schurl. Whereas now the new DD2 Masters leader was Thomas Piat at one point. It's now Christoph Adams, who's now up into 9th overall and is going about 0.9 of a second quicker than Johan Andersson, who's in front of him, as Martin Henkel Mortens again loses out another place, this time to Piotr Wisnicki. And last time around, Henkel Mortens did a 43.851, Piotr Wisnicki a 43.191. So a big differential there, whereas the 2 leaders are the top 3 are lapping sub 43 seconds, whereas Thomas Piat has actually set a pretty good lap time himself, respectively, being a DD2 Masters competitor. 42.961. Tenshut's done his best lap effort as well. As you can see now, there is a bit of squabbling going on, and it looks like we're just trying to keep an eye on it at the moment, with Mahacek still leading. The gap now between himself and Nicky Lowe is now 2.5 seconds. They have dropped Zenderu to about, Zenderu's been dropped by the second place driver to about the tune of half a second. So Adams leads in DD2 Masters, Mahacek leads the overall race, and is still putting in very consistent lap times. Last time around from the Austrian, it was a 42.581, as it looks like Martin Henkel Mortens is running the back bumper of Johan Andersson for position now. This is for 7th. So top 10 in the actual race itself, it's Mahacek leading from La, Deroux, Fleischmann, Schurl, Wisnicki, Andersson, Henkel Mortens, Adams and Tenshut. With Tenshut lapping a little bit quicker than the Belgium at the moment for what is effectively the lead in DD2 Masters in this race. So the battle between 9th and 10th is currently around 0.6 of a second, maybe even less than that, because Tenshut did a 42.859 last time around. Christoph Adams did a 43.2. So already the Belgian is having a bit of a disadvantage at the moment. Tenshut will have local track knowledge too, so that will be in his favour. I think Adams is probably wanting to just make sure that he gets consistent point finishes this weekend in the 2 finals tomorrow, as Henkel Mortens finally gets past Johan Andersson for position. Meanwhile at the front, it is still the man that is pulling away from the rest of the field, Daniel Mahacek from Austria. The gap now nearly 3 seconds from first, which is the 4.30, to the 4.25 of Nicky Lowe. 2.942 seconds. Zenderu a further 0.8 of a second adrift. And a little bit further back, it's Max Fleischmann from Germany, rounding out the top 4 in this race. You can just see how hard these guys are pushing around this circuit. We've seen that some of the drivers, like say in the Senior Max contingent, such as Philip Bava from Spain, will sometimes find that the karts are going to go a little bit sideways if you're pushing too hard, especially in the braking zone. There's no brake assistance on these karts, it's just normal rotors and calipers and pistons that will make sure that the brakes do stop at the opportune moment, and they have to be with the right hydraulic pressure, and the material should be working absolutely spot on. Whereas William van der Kaj, unfortunately, I think has He's now 2 laps down. Might have already parked it, so that's a real shame for the Dutchman, who's had no luck this season. Mahacek continues to lead. His gap to Niki Lauda is now 3.5 seconds. And we have 2 minutes plus an additional lap left to go. Oh, and there's a nice little battle going into turns 2 and 3. And just keeping an eye on which drivers these are. Trying to make a line of sight out of the video footage. Looks like the 405 of Wisnicki is right on the back bumper of Konstantin Scholl. This is the battle for 5th, ladies and gentlemen. It's really good to see that we've got an Austrian and a Polish driver competing on the same sort of regulations, but on a track that one of them that will know better than the other in terms of experience. And you can see that Wisnicki is closing right on the back bumper as they go into turn number 1. Very fast sweeping right-hander into turns 2 and 3. Now the right-hander onto the main part of the back of the circuit before you've got a little right, left, right. Now the infield section gets a bit more twisty and technical, but is still about carrying that momentum. And you can see that Wisnicki is not letting Scholl out of his sight. As we now have 50 seconds on the clock, the gap between Niki Lauda in second and Daniel Mahacek, who is leading the race, is over 3.5 seconds right now. No, make that 3.961 seconds as we have 36 on the clock plus an additional lap. Wisnicki is still very much in the attacking phase of this race as we now come into the last 30 seconds. And Scholl is keeping the Polish driver at bay. This is for 5th position. Oh, he throws it up the inside and barges his way past the Austrian, which means that Konstantin Scholl has to sort of lift off there to avoid further contact. So Wisnicki just literally threw it up the inside. One of the late breakers, I have to say, on that particular move. So the time has elapsed. And it looks like Manuel Tenchert has also got past Martin Henkel-Mortens. So quite a lot of drama in this race, including the points leader not having the race go his way. He started on the front row. He's now all the way down in 8th position. But he's still going to be fighting right until the end of this race. So last lap board is shown to Daniel Mahacek from Austria. His gap between himself and Niki Lauda is now 4.3 seconds. And you can see how hard that Martin Henkel-Mortens is having to defend from the likes of Christoph Adams. So he is basically a DD2 meet inside a DD2+Masters sandwich there, with both Tenchert and Adams surrounding him in 7th and 9th respectively. And there's more jostling for position there, as Anderson and Steinert, I think, just got past Christoph Adams. So Adams will drop all the way down to 11th position. Mahacek takes the overall win by 4.593 seconds. Zandaru takes a well-deserved 3rd place. Max Fleischmann from Germany in 4th. Piotr Wisnicki with that absolutely aggressive maneuver up the inside of Konstantin Scholl saw the pole take 5th. So Konstantin Scholl took 6th ahead of Manuel Tenchert, who wins the DD2+Masters category in this race. Martin Henkel-Mortens completes the top 8, 14.4 seconds off of Daniel Mahacek. With Marcel Steinert in 10th, Christoph Adams in 11th. Thomas Piet rounded out the finishing order in 12th, with William van der Kaj completing the finishing order, but finished half race distance down on the leaders.